Vox vs Mr Puzzles, Hazbin Hotel vs SMG4. I saw this matchup get talked about a lot more after it was revealed that SMG4 was ending, and even though I've said before that having YouTubers on Death Battle doesn't really appeal to me as a concept, this is obviously different. Like, having characters from internet shows is still more than fine with me, as long as those series are still versus viable and all that jazz. And based on everything that I've seen up to this point, I can say that this is one of the best SMG4 matchups that I've come across, and among one of the better ones from Hazbin Hotel and that wider universe. I think the main thing that we can all agree on when talking about this matchup is that this whole episode would just be crazy fun to watch. The atmosphere could be amazing, and so could the presentation. That's kind of everything that these characters are. The way that they just show this fight unfolding could be so unique compared to all the other episodes. It has a really good core theme that uses the similarities and differences of their personalities really well and what makes them tick, and I think it can make for a really deep script, or at least a relatively deep script from what Death Battle is known for, talking about how people can shape public perception and how that public perception can shape those people in return. But despite the oodles of personality that this matchup undeniably has, it also unfortunately has practically zero debatability in a very similar fashion to Alastor VS Black Hat. We're actually going to be going over a number of matchups in this video where you could very easily argue that they are not debatable, but in different ways and to varying degrees. As far as this matchup goes, I think it's probably a little better than Alastor vs Black Hat, because there seems to be slightly more talking points, and it's hard to imagine finding characters for either of these guys that are more fitting for them than each other. But even still, I see these two matchups as very comparable. I don't think it's entirely fair to hate on Alastor vs Black Hat, but to turn around and completely love this idea. I just see them as too similar in what they do well and what they maybe do not so well. As far as likelihood, I do think Hazbin Hotel and or Hell of a Boss will be used at some point on the show. I just think it's gotten too popular. And even though SMG4 doesn't strike me as something Death Battle would want to give an episode, it is hard to imagine giving Vox a different opponent, like I said before, and something is only unlikely to show up on Death Battle until it shows up on Death Battle, so I don't know. We'll just have to see what happens.